please.
Ready? Okay.
Yes.
We're calling the meeting to order at 5:01. Welcome, everybody. I'm excited to see all of you. I'm obviously a little nervous about this being my first meeting. I have a gavel, which is not my hour.
We went 3 times.
We didn't make it easy for you. We wanted to make it.
Sure, you wanted to make sure you were serious about being.
Watch the case.
Okay, so I am looking forward to collaborating with all of you and learning from all of you. I admire you. I know that some of you, I don't know, but anybody that wants to be a school board member is in different categories. You're just keeping to your community. So I'm excited to seeing, what change we can bring and supporting all of them. But it's best for us for our districts. With that, I'm gonna ask us to just breathe for a minute. I don't know if you guys have been running around, but I'm sure you guys have had way too many meetings already by just Wednesday. So just breathe and acknowledge that we're in relationship with each other and that, we impact each other. We are at a meeting, so just take a minute to breathe in. Be present, and we're gonna start by introducing ourselves because a lot of us are new. So just introduce yourself, where are you from, and why are you here with us tonight? And I'm gonna start with you, Michael, because you're right in front of me, and then we'll just go around and with the people on the screen.
All right, I'm Michael Inners. I'm the chair of the Champlain Islands Unified Union School District Board. Live in Grand Isle. I'm starting my second year on the board now. Franklin Grand Isle Regional Rep. In the rest of my life, I work as a patent attorney and for the Medicaid program.
Everybody speak up, because remember we're on the Zoom owl too.
That cover it?
Yeah.
So my name is Tara Sweet. I am on the other Franklin Grand Isle representative. I'm chair of the Fletcher School Board, and I'm also on the Franklin West School Board. This is my fourth year. I'm the VSBA board.
I'm Debbie Singizer, and I am the Director of Board Services here at the VSBA. So welcome, everybody. I am Kara Zimmerman. I'm Director of Policy Services and Legislative Affairs at the VSBA.
I'm Gaston Bethel. I'm from the North Country Supervisory Union, so I'm chair of the SU board as well as chair of our local Troy board. Over.
Joe Winrick, chair West River Education District Board and also a member of the Wyndham Central Supervisory Union Board. And this is my first year on the VSBA and really my first live meeting. Yeah, I was at Lake Maury. This is the first one.
Hi, I'm Nancy Dorgal. I'm the vice chair at Hartford School District, and this is my 3rd term. I think going to stay on this board, and that's me. Oh, wow. Watch out!
Yeah.
Oh, I have the time piece now.
Tommy, we love reading.
She's talking piece we like to throw in the next.
That's right. I'll put that down.
Yeah, so my name is Laura Williams. I'm on the school board at South Burlington. This is my 4th year at the VSBA, and I teach Spanish at Essex High School. This is my 3rd meeting today.
Wow.
I'm Mark Panic. I'm a board member in Addison Northwest. My 2nd year on VSBA. I'm also on the Employer Health Commission. Healthcare for all of the public school employees.
Mark Clough. I'm the chair of the Peacham School Board and the vice chair of the supervisory union that goes with that. And I'm quite a few years on this board, but it's been a wonderful experience. So welcome everybody.
Barbara Postman. I'm from
on the Lake Region Board, which is the regional high school up in the Northeast Kingdom, and King North representative. I've been on the board, well, I don't know, 4 months or something like that. I filled in a vacancy and then joined officially the last time in the new organization. And I also attended Lake North and really enjoyed it. Getting to see everybody alone. Great conference.
I'm Linda Smith. I'm on Greater Lake County and Corey Valley boards. I was on the board many moons ago when we did the Act 46, and then took a break and I just got elected back on, and I did this for a year a while ago. So this is sort of my second year. Thank you.
I'm Sue Siglowski, Executive Director of the VSBA.
Thank you. So, Suzanne, you want to go, and then Jim?
Sure. I'm Suzanne Buck. This is, well, let's see, I filled in 1 year someone's term. So this is my second elected term, so that might make me 4 years on this board. I've been a board member in ECSD in numerous capacities, whether it be a local board and then now a unified board. And so I'm Addison Central Supervisory District.
Thanks, Suzanne.
Okay, I'm Jim Salzgiver. I'm on the from down south, Taconic and Green Regional School District Board. I'm the chair of the Bennington Rutland Supervisory Union Board. Also been on the VSBA board for a while. I've been acting for a little bit as the treasurer, and also have represented the VSBA on the Vermont Pension Investment Commission.
Sonia?
Hi, I'm Sonia Spalding. I am a school board member from the Barry Unified Union School District, and this is my first VSBA board meeting, and I'm excited to be here.
Welcome.
Lisa?
Hi, Lisa Meiser. I'm the chair of Corey Valley and the Greater GRCSU. This is my second term.
Martine?
Hi, everybody. I have to apologize. I can't use my camera tonight, so just going to be that still picture. I came on during COVID, so I think I'm on my third year, and I am on a Burlington school board, and I also serve in the Senate in Health and Welfare and Education. And a special shout out to Laura Williams, because now I have a partner in the Western Chittenden District. Thank you, Laura.
Melanie?
I am here serving for the Bennington region. I am on the Taconic and Green School Board, which is part of the BRSU. And I teach down in Manchester.
Carrie?
Oh, I'm Carrie Lamb. I have been with the VSBA for about 23 years now. I am the Director of Operations and the home piece to the VSBA.
Hi, I'm Sandra Cameron. I am the Associate
Executive
Not the most important. Neil Odell, I am a board member from Norwich, Vermont, part of the Interstate School District, who is Hanover, New Hampshire, which is known as Dresden. I am the immediate past president of the VSBA.
Thank you, Neil. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to Sue, so we can do your full roles and responsibilities.
Okay, so this will be relatively short. Normally, I really provide a very comprehensive review of the roles and responsibilities of the SBA board members at this meeting. Those of you who are not new to the board have received that information multiple times. So this year, what we did was provide an orientation to the incoming VSBA board members, which covered roles and responsibilities of nonprofit board members, and it also covered conflict of interest. So for that reason, we're not going to go into depth tonight on those two topics. I did want to draw your attention, though, to the bylaws.
which are included in your meeting packet. And Article 7 is highlighted. And Article 7 includes information about the role of the SBA board members. And what it says is first that the board is responsible for oversight of the organization. It must assure that the organization has a clear vision and goals, is fulfilling its mission, is fiscally sound, and has a strong connection with the membership. And then second, the regional representatives will develop a liaison relationship with boards in their area, promoting local board involvement in association activities and services, and hearing their concerns and input on matters of broad public policy. Also, under Article 7, the board must adopt the annual budget and develop the vision and mission and policies of the organization. And finally, it says that the board shall provide broad guidance for the executive director around public policy in the absence of clear membership resolutions. I've asked Carrie if she would review the regional representative communication tools and how to use them. Because as I just mentioned a few minutes ago, one of your primary responsibilities is being a liaison with the boards in your area. And we have some tools to help you be able to do that. So she's going to share on the screen the tools so that she can kind of show you how they work. And if you have any questions about this in the future or today, Carrie is your person to ask. So go ahead, Carrie.
All right, so I'm going to show you what we've set up for our portal, our board member portal for you all. Each one of you, well, each region has, this is the Addison region that you're looking at. I will share if you're new on the board, I haven't shared it with you yet, but I'll do it after this meeting. Your regional portal. And what I'd like you to do is bookmark it, because although the data on the page will change, the page link itself will not change. So if you could bookmark it so you can always have it, that would be fantastic. The contact information on a monthly basis, I will update this based on our database. Board members, we change about 250 out of 880 board members, about 250 change it every year. So every month there's changes consistently. So every month I'll update this so that your contact information for your boards in your region are up to date. If you see anything on there that's incorrect, please don't just change it. Let me know, because that way I'll change it in my database, which is far more important, so that they get everything from us then, and it'll be much more useful. This is the first page that you come to when you open it. It's the contact sheets. Oh, you know what? I just realized I didn't share this with the Zoom people. Hold on, Zoom people. Share screen. Sorry about that. Okay,
We're
can you see
using
it
our
now?
imagination.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. So this is a contact page. I think all of you pretty much have seen it before. Again, this is Addison, but yours will have your own information. On the tabs at the bottom, the next one is communication log. The communication log is very important because not only does it allow us to know when you send something out, but it also lets your partner in your region know, so that we're not stepping over top of each other. And when you say topic, you can, just summarize it, kind of thing, so that everyone knows like what communication is happening. As you can see with Addison, Mark and Susan sent out an email on this 24th of September, and they sent it to all the people in their contact list. And that was the topic: introduction and plug for the annual conference. The next tab over is a regional meeting sample. Well, this is the most recent sample email. So as we go, we're creating sample emails for you. We send you an email, let you know that there's a new sample there. So that if you want to send an email, you can just copy and paste that, or you can copy and paste it and change some wording, or maybe you go, oh, I know what I want to say about that topic, and it's not the same. So, it's just trying to help you to get the information out as quickly as possible. And the last thing I'll say is that we always like to have you, and it says right here under contacts. It still says Sue and Neil, but Sue and now it'll be Sue and Floor, and I'll put Floor's email address in there.
whenever you send one out, please copy Neil or Floor. Yours is the Neil.
Maybe too many.
Floor and Seal and, if people. Okay,
We'll get, no matter what. Terry.
so
Okay.
put their email addresses in there if you can copy them. That way, if somebody has a question about the email, then they'll know what they're talking about. Not that, you know, that they're babysitting you, but they just are informed with the information. And that's all I have. Back to you, Sue.
So
You have
how do
questions?
you, so if you want to send to everybody in here, how do you do that? So.
Okay, so you're gonna, that's why we did it as a spreadsheet. If you just copy down through here like this, and
Okay.
if you highlight it, copy it, and go to your browser, to your email program, and put that in the BCC. Don't put it in two, put it in BCC. That way, when they get it, the whole first 5 inches aren't email addresses. And then when they respond, of course, they won't respond all to all 50
Right.
people. They'll respond to you.
Thank you.
Yep. Are there any other questions?
The goal is to communicate more with the school boards in our region.
Yes.
And you're gonna send samples when you think it's a good
Time.
reason to talk to them.
Right.
But could you just, like, somebody just say like a general overall rule of thumb, like, if you want to increase communication, what are some of the things that you might want to send out?
So we can tell you the next two that we're gonna talk about.
Okay. We're already gonna cover this, so.
The next two that we're creating samples for, we have one that it's gonna go out in the next couple of days to you all. And it is about the superintendent evaluation service and what's going on with it, how, you know, that, and Sandra will cover that later on in this meeting. And what was the other thing? Prospective board members, yes. So we'll also be talking about that later on, but you'll know that the sample email that we'll be sending you also, we have a lot of new things that we're offering for prospective board members, which, because it's coming up on town meeting time in November, December is when people usually start trying to find people. Someone's going to retire from the board, so they're starting to talk to people about usually the deadlines third week
Oh,
of
so this is when
January.
we're trying to recruit people to
Yeah.
run for the
Yes.
school board.
So we
Okay.
have tools that we've created over the last year
Oh,
to
good.
help recruit. At all times lately in Vermont, we have about 30 vacancies on boards during the year, not to mention town meeting day. So we're trying to help to create, so those kind of things are the things that we'll be sending you. Like I said, they're creating that email now and it'll probably go out to you maybe tomorrow. So it'll give you the opportunity to try out the new system when it's fresh in your brain.
And I have to add to that, Carrie, that those two emails that are going to be coming up, use that opportunity because we have a lot of new board members to introduce yourselves to to your, you know, to your region and say, you know, I'm here, give your email and however they must contact you. That'd be great.
And probably the next one after that will be for School Board Recognition Month is in February. And we're currently working on a bunch of tools for that as well. So probably January, the end of January, we'll give you another sample one that kind of lists off all the opportunities that people have to recognize their board. Okay. Any other?
Sonia has her hand up.
Oh, Sonia, sorry.
Thanks,
Yes.
Carrie. How do I access that? I'm sorry, I might have missed that part.
And no, as a new board member, you haven't received it yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so tomorrow I'll be sending you a link it'll go, I'll send an email to you and to your other board member in your region, and it'll give you the link that you can then bookmark, okay?
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, we're gonna move into the annual conference highlights and reflections. Debbie's gonna help us with this. She has prepared a presentation for us, but I want to use this time just to highlight the conference and first big thanks to the staff. They did a really great job in collaboration with the Superintendent's Association, but thank you, Sue, Debbie, Kara, Carrie, and Sandra. It was a great success, and I think we all learned a lot through it, and it's the basis of what we all do, right? Supporting student success through good governance. And with that, I'm gonna pass it to Debbie.
Thank you, Laura. Do you mind putting up the presentation?
Let me just
So on the first slide, it's just, you should recognize this from our workbook, and this was our logo this year. And while Carrie's pulling that up, let me just give you some registration numbers if you're interested to know how many people registered. We definitely surpassed last year's numbers. We had a total of 163 registered, of which 106. So we met our 100 goal. We're school board members. We were really, really trying to get to 100 school board members to register. So we had 106, of which 40 were chairs or are chairs, and 48 superintendents. So we had a really strong showing by the VSBA board members. So and that includes those that were outgoing board members as well as new ones. So I just want to appreciate you all for being there and participating. That just shows why you're such good leaders. And I also want to thank you for encouraging, like the letter that I just saw from Mark and Suzanne, to encourage your regional board members to, or your member board members to come to the conference. I really think that personal touch, that personal invite makes a difference. So that's kind of an overview. So the next slide is about workshops. I just wanted to let you know, for those that weren't there, what we did was we had 4 workshops that repeated. And we felt like that was the right number because that meant that everybody could attend 50% of what was offered. We based each of all 4 workshops represented one of the 6 pillars in the essential work of Vermont school boards. And we asked Daryl Camp, the second keynote speaker on day 2, to touch on the 2 pillars that were not workshopped. All of our workshops, in case you didn't notice, were facilitated, organized, or co-led by VSBA or VSA staff. And it made for a long day for the staff. I have to say that was a lot to do 2 75-minute workshops on top of organizing the conference, on top of the annual meeting. However, I also felt like the quality of the workshops were within our control. We had a little bit more control and input into the workshops. And so that felt good. And the feedback, which you'll see, and you can go to the next slide, actually, the comments that we got about the workshops were very positive. So this slide is the workshop that was very ably facilitated by Sandra. And this was the established pillar workshop. And she and Jess from the Agency of Education co-facilitated this. And what they did was they looked at this pillar through the model policy on wellness and comprehensive health. And so that's a quote from one of the participants that attended that workshop. Very positive. And then the next slide shows a photo from the effective and ethical operations pillar, which looked at the characteristics of what makes meetings, school board meetings, effective and efficient, using open meeting law and Robert's Rules of Order. And that was organized by Kara, and with, of course, lots of support from the Secretary of State and her deputy. So that was also a quote from one of the comments that came in about that workshop. And then the next slide doesn't have a picture, but it has more quotes, because one of the takeaways, which we'll get to at the end, is that we didn't take enough photos. So some workshops went completely undocumented, right, Mark? Like there's nothing there of us. But this was, so I just wanted to throw in a couple comments about the other workshops that we don't have photos for. Again, overwhelmingly positive, very few suggestions for improvements. And so the budget and financial oversight workshop was facilitated by Jeff Francis and Chelsea Myers. The board and superintendent partnership workshop I facilitated, and with the help of 2 districts that demonstrated that partnership, that strong partnership between the superintendent and a board member or a board chair. And Mark was so kind to step in when his chair couldn't be there, and he represented the Addison Central board. So that was great. And Grand Isle was our second one.
As Northwest.
Sorry, Addison Northwest. I'm so sorry. I can't believe I just said that. Of course I know.
That's all right, we'll borrow Mark anytime.
Yeah. All right, and then we'll move on to the keynotes. You can go to the next slide, Carrie.
Oops.
So after lunch on day one, we had our first keynote presentation given by Jennifer
Berkshire, don't do that to me. Berkshire, I remember it now.
Things like the mountains.
Like the Mount Berkshire.
And so she made a very strong case for public education and talked about the challenges to public schools, including the ongoing culture wars and new expansive private school choice programs. So that was our first keynote. And that was a quote from about her presentation. And then Daryl Camp was our showstopper, I'd say. He really delivered a home run on the morning of the second day. His workshop or keynote received the highest ratings by far. I think he was up to 4.9 the last time out of 5. The last time I checked. People were commenting on not only the high quality of his content, but the way he delivered it in such an entertaining way. I think that really helped us all stay awake on day 2 that morning. And his message was about how to build strong governance teams. And I also felt like because he's both a superintendent and he's worked for the California Association for School Boards, that he had credibility by, in the room where you had superintendents and board members. So I felt like, yeah, he just had a lot of credibility in addition to being a wonderful keynote speaker. And then the students, everybody's favorite, no surprise here. The students were very well received. Everybody loved both groups, and you'll see some more testimonials. This shows a photo of the Harkness, the group that at Harwood that did the Harkness and won the award from National School Boards Association. Tons of positive feedback from participants. And then unfortunately, I did not get a photo because I was at the opposite end of the room of the jazz group, but they were great. They were great. And what I also took away from this was that it was nice to have representation of an academic program balanced with a performing arts. I felt like that was a nice touch. So everybody loved the students. Yeah, as it should be. And somebody did say it was a reminder of why we do the work that we do. I don't know if I put that quote up there, but that was definitely said a couple times, that it just kind of grounded all of us. So moving on to sponsors very quickly. This was the first time we tried sponsor workshops at a conference. And we were a little worried about how that would go over. But again, overwhelmingly positive feedback about the sponsor workshops. Participants actually went, which we weren't even sure. Yeah, and I walked up and down the hall to see what was going on, and yeah, everybody had people in their workshop, and people's comments, as you can see here, showed that they really got something out of the workshops. And of course, as a sponsor, you can imagine they were thrilled to have that opportunity to present to all of you. Celebrations. Lots of celebrating this year. There's lots of reasons to celebrate and lots of wonderful people to celebrate. So again, just feeling like that was a good balance with some of the serious nature of the conference. I understand the celebrating continued after the banquet dinner, which I totally missed because I was dead to the world. But yeah, so the celebration was well received by everybody. So survey results by numbers, just a couple really, and this is just an early preview. We only had 28 respondents. So if you haven't done your survey, please do. And encourage other members who were there to do their survey as well. We're hoping to get, I don't know, last year we had 50 respondents, so I'm hoping we can beat that. My favorite stat up there is definitely the 71% of attendees said that they would be extremely likely to recommend the 2024 conference. So that sets sets us up well for next year. And I kind of cherry picked that quote at the bottom because it was one of my favorites. I had two up there and I was like, I don't want to make you guys read more, but I just thought that was a nice quote. And then key takeaways. So this is based on a discussion at the VSBA office, some of the key takeaways, and I'd love to get your feedback. What are some of your key takeaways? But really sticking to the basics of school board governance was welcomed, both by the newer members and some of the veteran members, and superintendents even expressed it was helpful to go back to the basics and really talk about what is school board governance. Keynotes, again, serious messages with a lighthearted or entertaining delivery is preferred. Sponsor workshops well received and attended. Student participation, we've kind of already said all this, and that celebration is always important and we should keep that in there. We don't do enough of that, I think, in school boards. We don't celebrate the victories enough. So I think that's the conference gives us that opportunity to do that. So I'd be curious if we have time.
We do have time. We're a little ahead, so we built a little time for this. So it doesn't have to be everybody, but if you have a key takeaway or something that you wanted to share because you were there, that would be wonderful.
Just an idea, we're trying to build these regions and the camaraderie among them. I wonder, and this is more work for the staff, if you don't put one or two regions together to go to workshops, like assign them as a group and maybe have 10 or 15 minutes at the workshops where people from the same region get to know each other and build that. I mean, you could always go and search everybody out, right? But there's 106 people or whatever. It's so hard to do, but I'm wondering if we couldn't get those folks together, you know, and get the regions more cohesive.
We've talked about doing that by having like networking time for regions.
Yeah.
Like this region would be in this room and
Right.
another region would have another space. That
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there might need to be a theme or something to help,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah. We talked about it. Go ahead, Kevin.
I think it was very helpful to repeat the workshops. So we could attend two and not have to worry about the conflicts between, it always seemed to happen otherwise, that the two that I want to go to are at the same time slot. So I thought that was I like that feature this year.
Thank you, Michael.
I mean, I like that as well. I just wanted to piggyback on that. My superintendent and I had both said, you go to these two, we'll go to these two, so that we can then compare. But then when we read the thing that said you had to go to the same one, so then we had to choose which two we went to versus he was gonna go to two, I was gonna go to two, and then we were gonna collaborate. So just another flip to that too.
Thank you, Karen. Martine and then Suzanne.
Yeah, at first I just wanted to thank everybody for all the hard work of putting that together. I know it must have been a behemoth, but it was very much appreciated by everybody. And I just wanted to say thank you. I also wanted to say that I really enjoyed the more lighthearted, fun moments, but I also really appreciate the more difficult discussions, whether it be around student waiting or the problems that public education are facing, or some of our conversations in the business meeting. I think it's really great to be able to have meaningful conversations and disagree with each other, and then shake hands and have a beer at the end of the day. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Martine. Suzanne.
So I'm going to echo Martine's thank yous. It was a very well put together conference and very well organized and run. I particularly also like the fact that, the workshops, several of them were duplicated so that, you could do one and then do another if you wanted to. The one that I thought was really pretty cool was doing one on the wellness policy that's coming out. And I was almost thinking, couldn't we broadcast this one? It might save policy committees a lot of legwork if they heard it all up front from the experts instead of people on the ground that are trying to explain all those changes. But I thought they were very well done. And then going back to some of idea or thoughts about organizing boards by districts or areas. I mean, the superintendents have kind of pulled themselves together, and at least in the Champlain Valley, so that there are several superintendents that get together, and so maybe taking a page from their cohorts of superintendents and offering a time for boards that are in those same cohorts to get together with superintendents and meet or discuss similar issues. I mean, I know we've been talking with other districts about bus services and trying to get more than one person to submit a bid back to us. So things like that might be something to think for and about for the next time, but very well done, very well planned. And it was very good. Thank you.
Sonia, do you have? No, I thought she was just gonna do it. Okay, okay. Doesn't matter.
Others,
Right, no other comment?
I like the fact that the realism of the fact of you can't do everything in a board meeting. That maybe if you're going to do governance, you might have to have another meeting, which, you know, nobody wanted. I don't think we want to hear that, but I think that that's a reality of life, is that if you're going to do it, there's so much that goes on in a board meeting. And, you know, Lisa keeps it moving, you know, to get everything done. But there isn't always that time to fit in the extra stuff that you really need. And I thought that was a really very good, you know, it's hard to say that out loud. Hey, you're gonna need another meeting. Nobody wants to go to it, but that's not true. You want to, you know, you've got to go to it, but it's another meeting. But if you're going to accomplish something, you're going to have maybe have another meeting. So.
Talking about the governance, the thing that struck me was the handout on the new governance standards coming out. And I looked at Elaine, our superintendent, and I was like, you know, in thinking about this, it just appears that we've got some time to really begin to look at our meetings, because we've sort of become complacent in how we approach our meetings, right? You know, certain things we talk about, and so this is going to turn that on its head. And so, you know, in that respect, you know, this month for both my boards, I'm introducing them to the governance standards, and I'm telling them point blank that there will be things that we are going to be talking about that heretofore we really haven't. And they're as important as all of this other stuff that we've been talking about. So I'm trying to do that, but I think that something like that, an annual meeting, would be terrific, because that's a huge shift in how we think and how we present and conduct meetings, in my estimate. From what I said.
Along that same line, the effort on the workshop is that we're struggling in our board meetings because we have these solid, heavy subjects. We have like presentations in the MTSS multi-year system of support coordinator that we have. And but we had to cut her off because we had also a presentation that day on the new IT system that, so I mean, we know in retrospect we shouldn't have put those both in the same meeting, but the meetings, you know, we said we don't want the meetings to be more than 2 hours and 15 minutes. And then we're trying to stick to that. So maybe some suggestions on how to take things offline in committees, or, you know, and have a subsection of a board handle some of it and make recommendations to the board, or something. If we don't want, you know, as Linda said, nobody wants to go to more meetings. And we're going to every other week we have a meeting, maybe looking at taking on that problem. You have you know, people who are volunteering their time and coming to these meetings, and there's more problems to solve than there is time to solve it in. And so just talking about that might be an interesting thing to figure out help everybody with.
Yeah, I think we're starting to deviate out of the conference and
No,
definitely
that's-
governance
that's-
standards, not
that's
yet through the
clear.
governance standards, but it's great that you put that input in some of the webinars.
This
Go
is
ahead,
conference based. I think that the business meeting, I know how painful this is for Neil and Flor, the group, but the whole values around the offerings is just so important, and the discussion that we have. And I just think maybe even expanding the business, I don't even know why we call it a business meeting, because it's so much about values and building a culture around what we wanna have the legislature do, et cetera, et cetera. I think we can do more with that, but I do get the whole painful part of the governance of that and the motions.
Thank you, Mark. Any other comments? Go ahead,
I
Melanie.
haven't checked yet, but I know that you said a lot of this was gonna be available online, so like the handout for the governance part, is that also online?
Everything, all the handouts for the conference, if you go to our website and you go under events, it's conference handouts, there's a whole page.
So
It's the agenda from the conference and you can click on each piece of the agenda and get the handouts from it.
Perfect, thank you.
And the governance ones. Particularly this home's person before.
Okay, so with that, we're gonna wrap up that conversation. This was great. The business meeting also was one of my favorite ones. It was hard conversations, but you know, we were able to keep it respectful, you know, even when it went a little the other way. And I think that's the most important thing that we do is modeling good civil conversation even when we're disagreeing. Because we bring that to our own districts. Governance, and it starts from the top, right? So you guys are good ambassadors of that. So with that, let's move into with the addition, mission, and strategic planning, support, and then we can go back to Steve.
Okay, I'm gonna start on this and then everybody's going to contribute on the staff. So we have a vision, mission, and strategic plan at the VSBA, and probably the first time that our newer board members are seeing the monitoring tool. I believe it begins on page 12 of your packet. Last year, the VSBA board went through a comprehensive strategic planning process, updated the vision and the mission, as well as the belief statements that were developed during that process. They're all at the top of the tool, which begins on page 12 of your board packet. And you'll see as you move down past the vision and mission that we have 4 goal areas. Those areas are stakeholder engagement, systems and resources, advocate for public education, and model policy. And then within each of those goal areas, there are objectives and key results that we are working toward. And for each key result, which we refer to as KRs, the staff reports to the board on the progress using this tool. So I'm going to highlight one thing in the tool, which is something new that we've started to keep track of. And it's VSBA's response to communications from school board members and superintendents. And then other staff members will highlight some other parts of this tool. So late last summer, we began tracking the requests for information that we received from school board members and superintendents. And we're doing this for 2 main reasons. First, we're hoping to identify trends in the questions that we receive and target those areas for future professional development. And then second, we have realized how important this resource is for school board members and for superintendents as well. They often will contact us with school board related questions, you know, about a model policy or that type of thing. So we think it's important to document how and how often VSBA is receiving and responding to these requests for information. Between September 1 and today, or as of this morning, there might be a few more that were added during the day. The VSBA has received and responded to 81 communications from school board members and superintendents on a wide variety of topics, from policy questions. There were 27 of those, open meeting law, 13 of those, meeting management, and more. So we're thinking that it's going to be important to keep track of this, and we'll be informing you in future meetings about what the trends are that we see in these requests. And also just to remind all of you that if you have a question, you should always feel free to reach out to us, and we'll be happy to help. I think Carrie's going to go next with the weekly email open rate.
Sure. So the one I'm talking about is KR 1.1.4. It's the weekly update emails. Now, everyone here, I'm sure, opens your weekly email and reads it to the T every period, right? Okay. So you're all part of these statistics. So our goal is when we started this up, we were at 62%. Our goal is to hit 80% by the end of the year. This isn't 2022. We have been increasing a little bit. We're at 65% from 62. We're not quite to 80 yet. We have plans though to spoof everything up really great. We're talking about putting some videos in, putting some more graphics in. Hopefully they'll catch eyes more, and make it so that people can see things in different ways. But we're making progress towards our goal.
And we'd love to have you encourage your board members to open their weekly email, because there's a lot of good information in there. And they're missing out if they're not being.
I know you only have so much room in the subject line, but if there's some way you can sort of stay in the subject line, you got some hot thing that's in there.
Well, that's what at the top, we have a table of contents, and the first thing under table of contents is hot topics.
Yeah, no, I
So,
know, but I
yeah,
mean, that's, you have to
yeah.
open it to see that.
Yeah, you do.
So
Yeah,
if
unfortunately.
it comes into your inbox and you say, oh, a VSBA update, I'm just talking, you know.
Yeah.
We'll start opening. Aren't opening them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good idea. That's a great idea. We'll talk about that. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. Thank you.
Put it up. Next, we have Sandra with superintendent searches and evaluations.
Sure, so superintendent evaluation, I would put it under KR 2.2.4, which is around board superintendent relationships. Just as an update, I just finished one evaluation, currently summarizing another evaluation and issued a survey for a third evaluation last week. And then I'll be starting another one early this spring. The superintendent evaluation is embedded in the DQS, so effective 7/1/2025, annual evaluation of the superintendent will be a requirement. So that's encouraged me to dig into our materials and our communication. And so this was a result of us updating and refreshing some
Take the owl
information.
over
So
there.
the board was at the conference. There are some handouts that you're welcome to take. There's some laminated resources there that are all on our website. So feel free to explore on our website, any of that. And as Carrie mentioned, bring the owl.
Oh, I'm freaking the owl out now. There it is. Okay.
Or moving it, to be honest, I'm like right in front. Did I not? There's a sign right here.
Okay.
It's not just.
Right.
Oh, no, it's been the whole time.
Still good. The regional rep sample email that's coming out to you in the next day or so will also highlight superintendent evaluation and the resources that are available. I am also currently researching a service called Super Eval, which the New York School Boards Association uses, and it is an automated service that allows for customization and efficiency and streamlining of the process. So I'm looking into that as an option as I'm anticipating growth demand in this area. So I'll follow up on what I learn about that. And that's it for superintendent evaluation. Superintendent search is KR 2.2.5. And currently we have 3 active searches going with contractors that are providing that work, and 1 pending RFP we submitted a response to. We are using the services of 2 consultants for the contracts that are underway, but we have a consultant pool of 4. And on Monday, I'm meeting with those consultants so we can start talking about how we can share our resources, how we can be sure that we are delivering consistent information, consistent guidance, and really working together. So that will be happening on Monday. And I'm also observing some of those processes so I can bring that information back to the group. And I think that's it from my two.
All right, we'll go to Debbie. She's talking about the pre-board candidate training. Get on board.
So this one falls under KR 2.1.1, pre-service candidates. And that indicator reads, by December 31st, 2025, conduct an annual webinar for potential school board candidates that has 40 registrants and an overall satisfaction rating of 4.5 on a 5-point scale. So we decided to blow the lid off this indicator and not just do a webinar, but do a whole campaign, which we are calling the Get On Board campaign. Ballot Ready estimates 477 school boards seats in Vermont will be up for election this year in 2024. And also in light of what Carrie said, that there's high board member turnover every year. And vacancies left by people who just go off the board for different reasons. And we also recognize that we'd love to increase diversity on our school boards. So in light of all of that, we decided to pilot a campaign this year. The main aim is really to communicate to the whole public what a school board does, what is the role of the school board, and the benefits of serving on a school board, because we often hear the horror stories about being on a school board, but we don't always hear the good stuff that happens, and how we want people to understand that there is this potential to make a positive impact on their school district. We've included, so in addition, so one of the tools, the communication strategies we're using is this brochure that Carrie and actually Phil designed and did. And I know they were in your conference folders, but if you would like some extra hard copies, I'm happy to hand them around. We also have it available digitally. That's a resource just to hand out wherever possible. We've sent them to all town clerks in the state.
10 to every town clerk, 10 to every issue.
And every central office has received them. So again, we're just trying to get it out as much as possible. There's a link in your letter, the email that's coming out to you in the next couple of days. There's an actual live link that connects you to this electronic version of this brochure. December 12th, please mark your calendars. We're having a lunchtime webinar for the public. So it's not just school board members. In fact, what we're trying to do is get more people who aren't currently school board members to come to this webinar called Get on Board Pre-Candidate Training for anyone who's even remotely thinking about running for school board. It's just an informational session. And this is going to be a challenge because how do we reach the public? So we really depend on all of you to get that word out. We'll be using social media on our end as much as possible, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So if you are not following those, Instagram's not quite set up yet, but Facebook and Twitter are. Follow us, please, and then repost and share the post that we put out, because the more times that that's reposted, the more the chances grow that somebody in Vermont will see it and want to come to this webinar. So another way we're also getting, we ask for your help in helping us spread the word about serving on a school board, is to write letters to your editor, to the editor of your local papers. And I'm happy to provide you with a template if that is useful to you. I know some people would rather write their own letters, but I'm happy to give you just like the nuts and bolts of one, and you can customize it. And again, trying to reach the people who are not always on social media or don't use social media, I think that's important to try to reach them. So you can contact me with a request for the template. And then Carrie has created little business cards with a QR code that you can hand out. They're on our website as well under resources. And if you scan the QR code, it takes you right to our website, right to the page on our website where it gives people information about how to run for school board and what is it like to serve on a school board. And I think this brochure is even on there as well. So that's an unlocked page, so you don't need to have access to our website. Anybody in the public can go to that. And as I said, this is all going to be explained to you in the email communication that you're welcome to send out to your VSBA regional reps or as regional reps for you to send out to your boards. So please just help us spread the word. We rely on you. I mean, I feel like exponentially we can get a lot of people out there to know about this campaign and to get hopefully a healthy number of people to run. The statistic I'm trying to get is how many races in Vermont are uncontested. I mean, yeah, uncontested, so there's not an opponent. I mean, often we see that, right? On ballots, we have a single candidate. Or sometimes in my district, there's no candidate, and then it's appointed after town meeting. So we're just trying to get more people excited to do this. Thanks.
Can I ask it? Sure. Go ahead.
Gaston or Tara. you guys do elect.
So I guess my question is, I mean, I got a call from my town clerk when they received this, so like, what do we do? Because we vote from the floor, so we never know who's running till that second on the floor, or someone comes up to me, do you want to be reelected? Usually I already have someone who's gonna put my name up, but, we don't know. I mean, very rarely do we know if someone's gonna run till that second when they call it from the floor. So she's putting it out for a little while, but then she said she was just gonna recycle it because,
Don't recycle it.
okay,
But
yeah.
how, they could take it right with them to town meetings, so when someone says, oh, I might run, you can hand it to them, so they'll know what is involved with being a board member before they put their hand up.
Well,
Or-
I don't usually know till the second they ask for nominations.
Yeah,
Like,
so I mean, like when
very
people get
rarely
there,
do
say
I-
if anybody's
I
interested.
mean, occasionally I'll hear word of mouth ahead of time that someone might be running, but most of the time we don't know till that second before.
Wow.
You could still have it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can have it.
Hand
but
it
I-
out.
yeah.
Ask if anybody's interested in it.
We don't even have a town newsletter anymore because everyone was throwing them away, so they stopped doing them, so.
Yeah, front porch forums could be something, but you can keep them or give them to your superintendent.
Okay.
So put them more at the district in case there's somebody.
Because
that
the
wants to
schools
run.
in my district do ballots, so
Yeah,
they clearly
so
know,
that'd
but
be-
my school is still from the floor.
Also putting it something in, if you have a school newsletter.
Through
Just
the
saying that
school.
they're available and have them at the principal's office or at the front office of the school
Okay.
and say that's where they can find them.
Yes, done.
So we vote from the floor as well. And so fortunately, we have a number of people that we can rely on. I've got 2 people now in my back pocket, but the issue for me is exactly what you're talking about, and that's the school newspaper. And for us, we have Parent Square as the mandated communication tool for our parents. And so I just sort of ask or wonder if there's any reason why. I'll talk to Eric and say, hey, can you send this out? I'm sure he would. But to me, that at least that would get a proportion or a segment of the population with kids in the school. Because everybody gets it. And according to him, everybody really responds to that. There's that. And then also, what I would think about doing is just putting it on the website for the school and also for the town. I mean, we're re-looking at rejiggering our website anyway. So this would just be perfect. You just take a screen capture and you just
Well,
have
and,
something about it.
and
So-
when we send the email out to you, it'll have a link to, it's a page on our website. It's called Potential School Board Members. So you can link right to that, or the back of the brochure has a QR for it. So they can put the QR in the newsletter and then people can just click on and go to that as
Yeah,
well.
that's awesome. I think Get On Board is just an awesome. Yeah, says a lot. Just
Or go to your open houses. I've gone and I wish I had had that. Cause walking around saying hi, I'm Linda, you know, let me tell you something about being on the school board and, you know. It's really not, you know, all that bad when people make it out to be. It's really a group, you know, just meeting them. Hi, how are you? And we had 3 people apply for one position. Oh, cool. And so it's a matter now of getting in touch, you know, with the other and saying, hi, you know, we're gonna get an opening when we do get an opening. Just going into the school is a great place to talk. Went to the PTO and talked with them and went to the library and when I was getting books, hi, how are you? I'm a board member and you know, do you need any information? We'd love to have people apply. And, you know, sometimes the one-on-one is good too.
Thanks, Linda. That's a great idea. The library especially applies for this. Martine, and then Suzanne, and then we are ready for dinner. So I think we did that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, just wanted to suggest that we post about the webinar on our Front Porch Forum areas if we're on Front Porch Forum. And also, yes, could you please send out the language for the letter to the editor, because I bet we could use some of that for a Front Porch Forum post if we don't use it as a letter to the editor. Thanks.
We do have a page on our website called Filling Board Vacancies. It's right by potential board member information. So if anyone's ever looking, You can see it there. There's a law that says they have 30 days to fill a spot on a board. And that's listed there as well, so that people know the time frame for filling vacancies.
Thanks, Grace. Suzanne?
And Martine beat me to the punch. I was gonna say Front Porch Forum. We also have local school newsletters that go home from all of the local schools, so I could put it in those for at least the Addison Central School Districts newsletters. But yeah, definitely Front Porch Forum would be a great place. Maybe 7 days might be another place. People pick that up at the grocery store.
Thanks, Suzanne. Mel?
Yeah, I'll just add, I know, all meetings have to be publicly warned and physically posted somewhere, so wherever your physical postings are in town might be a nice place to kind of get straight up there.
Yeah. Thanks, Mel. That's a good idea. Okay.
I'm last and keeping us from dinner, so I will be brief, but I do want to update you all on model policies because it's important to draw attention to those. So I have been very busy over the summer and throughout the fall reviewing model policies that were last reviewed in 2019 or later. We're trying to stay in that 3 to 5 year review cycle. And then sometimes the legislature changes the law and that requires another update outside of that cycle. So since our last update, I have revised our model policy on community use of school facilities. That is up on our website. I revised the model policy on employee unlawful harassment to reflect changes in the law from last legislative session. Revised the model policy on options-based response to violent intruder drills, fire drills, and emergency preparedness. That was formerly the fire and emergency preparedness drills that we issued in June after a school safety law that passed last session. The Agency of Education issued revised guidance and we decided to reissue the policy so that it aligns with the agency's guidance. You've satisfied the requirement by law by adopting that initial policy, but we wanted to provide that. Some school districts were feeling that the policy as written was hard to implement. So we just wanted to provide that for school districts. And you can, take that into consideration during your policy review cycle. Sandra worked very hard with the Agency of Education to issue a new local wellness policy to replace the VSBA model policy on wellness and comprehensive health. And then we communicate all of those to you through our weekly updates, but then also on the model policy manual on our website, we have a big blue box and that will have either policies that we've recently deleted, policies that we've revised, or new policies, and then those all have links to those weekly updates with explanations for the changes. We also removed policy on job descriptions and staffing. Moving on to the legislative session. We are busy preparing for the upcoming session. A big piece of that is the resolutions adoption process, which obviously you all participated in at the annual business meeting. After the conference, we updated the resolutions in the board handbook, and Carrie and I are working on finalizing a pamphlet that highlights some of our resolutions and that we can provide to legislators so that they understand the foundation for our advocacy efforts in the legislature. And then also just to let you know, we've got the card room booked for April, and we as staff are thinking about ways to use that space and time in the legislature. That's all.
Card rooms is over at the state.
I'm sorry, that's over at the state house. Apologies, yeah, that is a room in the state house, and that would give us an opportunity to engage with legislators, and it's just another way that we can increase our visibility in the state house.
Have you done a card? Do you usually do a card room?
We have them.
I have Can I?
Go, Gaston, yes.
This whole thing with policy, model policies from the VSBA, I cannot say enough how I feel those are critically important. I know for our SU, when Sandra was doing this, you know, she came in and did an audit of our required, recommended, and sent us these, you know, all of our policies and issues with them, and so we have started to really, you know, start tracking this stuff and update our policies. But I can't say enough how important it is. We found many times where having this in policy, whether people follow it or not, it's another thing, but you know, having it written and knowing that it's, you know, valid, has been well researched and reviewed by legal is so helpful. So I, you know, I think it's just an awesome service, and so I thank you for that, very important for the both of you.
Well, it's everyone really, and it ends up being involved, so,
Anyway,
yeah.
sorry, thank you.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, people online can take a half an hour break. We'll be back at 6:30 for election. Okay, so
I can walk too.
ready and, yeah, dinner is always my favorite part too, and it's nice to be in person because we get to know each other and we don't get to do that very often. So thank you, Carrie and team at VSBA for having such a delicious dinner for us and taking good care of us. But now let's move to executive committee election. Vice President, Treasurer, and 2 members are elected. So Article 10 of the bylaws is highlighted in your packet. Okay, so that's deleted. Article 10 provides the following regarding the executive committee. The executive committee is comprised of 6 officers: the president, who shall serve as chair, vice president, treasurer, 2 at-large members, and the immediate past president. The executive committee meets most months during the year to assure the timely conduct of the business of the association, including an annual performance review of the executive of the association. This committee recommend bylaw change to the board of directors for action by the membership at the association annual meeting. The executive committee is empowered to take action on behalf of the board in areas except those that identified specifically in Article 7. So tonight, we will be electing 4 members to the executive committee. Those members are the vice president, the treasurer, and 2 members are large. Prior to each election of office, each candidate will have 2 minutes to provide the board with information about their background or their interest serving in that position. So we're gonna proceed with the elections, and we're gonna start with the vice president's election. So but let me tell you a couple of things. If we don't have too many nominations, we're gonna not do ballots, but for the 2 members are large, we're gonna do ballots. So let's start with the vice president, and do I have a nomination for vice president?
I nominate Tara for her vice president.
Thank you, Nancy. Any other nominations
I would nominate Susanna Bucker.
for vice president? Okay. So then, I am gonna move.
We have 2 Taras on the board now, don't we?
Do what?
Don't we have 2 Taras
Yeah,
on the
we
board?
Yes, Tara Sweet
Yes,
and Suzanne Bach.
sorry, didn't know we had 2 Taras.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pass this purple little ballot, and you guys can write your candidate. For the people online, please email directly to Sue your vote. Yeah, so before we, yeah, Tara, well, we're doing.
Sure. So, I've been on the board, I think, at least 3, if not 4 years. I know I started to take out someone's term. This is my 2nd term. Last year, I was a member at large on the executive committee. I really liked the work. I really liked, you know, being part of the team in the committee, and would really like to serve as vice president and help with the resolutions committee as well.
Thank you, Tara. Suzanne?
Hi, everyone. I've been on the board. This is my 4th year, and I've been very active in local politics on my own board, serving on policy committees, negotiations, and as an executive chair in our own district. Last year I ran for the member at large, but was unsuccessful in attaining that position. I've served on the resolutions committee and the legislative committee, and I've really enjoyed the work, and I really value the work that the VSBA does, and I'd like to be able to help promote it more and to take a more active role within the group.
Thank you, Suzanne. And Suzanne, just to clarify, for vice president, right? Not member
Yes.
at large.
Yep.
Okay, so we will collect. Yeah, if you want, yeah. And again, people online, please send your email.
To Sue.
To Sue, yeah.
You're ready, no pressure.
To have them all.
If anybody runs on a platform with chocolate chip cookies like these, you'll get my vote.
They're good.
I vote for these for the next in-person meeting.
Okay. I've gotten. Are there more ones?
Yeah, Bart is there.
Okay,
Right,
right, I've got one more.
If you send us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't gotten one for the reason of my birthday.
Okay, Melissa?
Oh, wait a minute, I did, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I love the bread.
And their bread was really good. The salt was good.
It is a little salty, but I like them.
That's why the transition from the bread to the cookie was.
I'm looking forward to
hard,
that
but it was
transition.
good.
The bread is so good.
They did.
Sam Cater, what's the caters?
Locarno to go.
Locarno to go, and they're a month ago. Very.
They're in Barry. I can send you their links. They have the thing. If you work.
Yeah,
And you want to, on Wednesday nights and Sunday nights, you can pick up from you. So if you're on your way home on Wednesday night, you have to, they sell out. Like, so within 2 hours, it's like a week, because they put up, like 7 parts on a certain night of what they're making. They only have one dish that they make work. And I'll send you the information because they put it up and you gotta get in quick and order it. And then when you go home, I don't know if you're working on Wednesday night, on your way out, you just pick it up and take it home. You got a fresh cooked whole in a minute.
The ballots are. You took out. The ballots are all in, so we have 15 votes for Tara and 3 votes for Suzanne, so congratulations, Tara. Thank you, everybody, your names, our new vice president. And thank you, Suzanne, for putting yourself out there too. Okay, so with that, we're gonna move to the 2 members are large, so that was that, oh, sorry, treasurer, yes. Do I have a nomination for treasurer?
I'd like to nominate Jim Salzgower for treasurer.
Thank you, Melanie.
I'm sorry, who?
Jim
Oh,
Salzgower.
no, I just don't see it, Melanie. Sorry.
Any other nominations? Yeah, okay. So since we don't have more people, I would just take a vote by hand and so all those in favor, please signify by putting your hand up. Since we have some online, I'm not gonna do the ayes. I see 1, 2 online. Jim, you're gonna vote for yourself, Suzanne? Yeah. Thank you.
It's such a popular job.
Great job. So now we're gonna move to our two members that are large, and the thought was that we would do each one separate. So it's so for the first member at large, I'm gonna pass some things. Balance out, and I'm looking for a nomination for one of our members at large for the executive committee. Jim?
Yeah, I actually have two people I'd like to nominate. Mark Clough and Suzanne Buck.
Yeah.
And we're gonna give a chance to each of them, right?
Yeah, and now we're gonna give a chance to each of these. Something, Suzanne, and why you're interested in being part of the executive committee. So why don't you go ahead, Mark?
Okay, so here's Susan. I just want to get more involved with the board. I've just seen how the VSB staff has been operating and I just love this resolutions process. I just need to be more active on this board and this would be a great way to do it. And I would look forward to being part of the executive.
Thank you, Mark. Suzanne?
And as I said previous, I really want to be more involved with VSBA. The resolutions process was enjoyable, and the legislation piece that we did over the summer, well, the spring months, was quite interesting and fascinating. And so I'd like to be able to play more of a role.
Thanks, Suzanne. With that, please, right?
Can I ask that clarifying?
Yes, please.
Is there gonna be anybody else nominating on the second one, or if we have two people for two spots? If no one else is gonna nominate the second time around, we could be done.
Or we could just ask for all of the nominations, because I think there's more people that are. So I want to keep it separate, is that okay? And then we'll.
I just wasn't sure if they're. Never, okay.
Oh, okay. So let's just keep this one as it is.
I'm confused. This is Martine. Are we picking two for two? Two people for two?
One, and then we'll have a separate for the next one. So right now you're voting either for Mark.
Sorry.
Or Suzanne.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess can I clarify
Yes.
too? Did Jim know that in nominating both people at the same time? Was that clear?
Yeah, that's what we said. We were gonna.
Okay.
Just separate, so.
Okay, it feels a little awkward to me, but okay.
Will you do it? Be simpler. The distance, I think it'll be simpler right now, and the ballots are already out, and then there's no reason why the second candidate can be nominated again.
To clarify, I have one, vote that I've received with two names on it, so you can only vote for one name.
One name right now, or one name.
So if you send me two names, send me one, please.
Yeah.
Goes up north, like Greenwood Lake and all that. It's not something.
Which one? Ashby?
I'm waiting to hear from Bart and
I just
Martine.
don't, yeah.
Snow, sleet, even rain.
And while you're waiting, if you have not already, here in the room,
Yeah, okay.
there's a mileage form. All I need is your signature on it and your name at the top, and I can fill in the rest of the information.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to worry about it for your morning. I'm wondering if it'll be the first snow.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I hope not. It's such a bad way already accumulating them.
I know.
We all get at June and think, oh, one.
A late start, I don't know why we just. Superintendent just doesn't do it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm really sorry. They don't know how we do that a lot and so. Because.
Martine, you can only vote for one person.
Okay, sorry.
Who you vote
I'll-
against?
Do they observe Veterans Day on Friday?
It's just.
We don't. Some
We-
schools do, some don't.
Really?
Or not. But it's a professional development.
What is tomorrow?
They just,
But like the neighboring district in Cambridge, Lamoille North is.
They're closed. Well, it's because Lamoille North and South are on the same calendar because of, So, yeah. Yeah.
Get Friday up there. Where would the Champlain Valley start?
You want me to talk about that?
In what?
No, it's silent mode. It's just. You know, they always have those discounts and say. School board meetings. I turn this off at school and. Like it's just. I think it's just, it's just.
So the results are back. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Everybody online too. So we have 12 votes for Mark Plot and 6 votes for Suzanne. So congratulations, Mark. And again, Suzanne, thank you for putting yourself up there. So now we're gonna proceed to the second member at large. You're gonna get a yellow ballot. And chance. The member at large. Sorry.
I'll nominate Nancy Russell.
Thank you. Any other nominations? Did you do one?
Yeah.
Barbara. Barbara, you're nominating Suzanne. Okay. Jim?
What?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Tell Suzanne she got nominated.
Yeah, Suzanne, Barb just nominated you. Do you accept the nomination?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Jim, do you have a question, Susan?
Nope, it was just doing a nomination, yep.
So you all have a yellow ballot?
But they just want to talk to them.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna, Suzanne, do you wanna go first this time?
So I've always been very interested in school board work and what it represents not only for the students, but for the communities as well. And the VSBA plays a major role in working with local boards and helping them understand their roles and responsibilities. And I'd like to play a larger role in the VSBA.
Thanks. Suzanne, Nancy?
Hi, this will be my third term serving on this board and going next year for the 4th term on the local board. I've been involved already with the award ceremony, the financial ceremony, the awards, the awards committee, the resolutions committee, the legislative committee, and the financial committee. I've got a lot, I am involved a lot in my local community, and most of it involves the children and what's going on with the kids in our school system and excuse me, with their families. This has been the greatest joy to have served on this board already. So I just would like to continue to have more involvement. Also,
Thank you, Nancy. Okay, so if you're voting for one candidate, for people online, please send your email to Sue again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Or I'm gonna do one more non-binding vote. Who here is gonna get another cookie?
Who here?
If I see enough hands go up that equates to one cookie a person, then I will not grab a second. And if there's not enough hands to go up, then I'm gonna grab a second.
Counter that. Who's already had two?
Obviously,
Some good cookies.
those are the ones.
Yeah, grab a slice of bread.
Just thought I.
Actually, it's always lots of.
So here's, I'm gonna tell you, like, in all honesty, this guy was stuck to another one.
Oh,
Pulled him apart.
you didn't just take.
Many are there.
Oh,
Boy.
they're wonderful cookies. They're wonderful cookies.
Counting 10, Gaston, 10.
9.
Gosh.
There was a bus song, sort of like it's 10 cookies at the table, take.
Cameron, you guys killed it. Great to get here early.
Usually it's on me, so.
Gets 12 cookies, 12 votes. Suzanne gets 6 cookies. So congratulations, Nancy, and again, Suzanne, thank you for being brave and putting yourself out there again. With that, we have a complete executive committee. And thank you, everybody.
Yeah, that's after the.
So, I was just getting a couple of texts. We are gonna do the committees, but we're gonna do them after. So let's move into the treasury report. Thank you, Jim. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I guess it's good I got elected, because now I can do the report. Yeah, at the annual meeting, I gave a little bit of an overview about where we stand. Things haven't changed too dramatically since then. Things are in good shape. We're at our rich part of the year because we just got all our dues in prior to expenditures and all, so we're looking in good shape. The finance committee did meet recently, and just to kind of report to the whole board, you're going to be hearing more in the future. We have implemented our investment approach, where we had increased the restricted reserve amount and to 425,000, and that's all been put into Vanguard at this point. We decided as a finance committee to sort of just slowly move into the investment. So we have, a government money market account, but then that are all just indexes. And we first just put into the other investments, the longer term investments. We put a first 100,000 into those. And then we made a decision as a committee that every 3 months we'd plan on putting another 100,000. Essentially, an approach. It's like the old dollar cost averaging thing. We just put it in over time, so we're not putting a whole big slug of investment in at one time and trying to hope that we made the best timing decision. So I think we're pleased as a finance committee that we got that accomplished. It should help to support our financials. It's Carrie's done yeoman's work on trying to get us all the interest that we could, but I think we're gonna be in a better position as an organization, with this new approach. Other things, the finance committee, we're about to go out to, we shared the financials for the year that were reviewed by our auditors. Carrie's also started the process of an RFP going out to auditors. Because every 3 years we try to go out and you know, it's just kind of best practice to look at the potential of getting new auditors. So that's basically the report. Happy to take any questions.
We're very clear, I think, Jim. Any questions? Yes, Don.
Hey, Jim, this is Gaston. So, like a school board, does this budget, although there are certainly accounts that you're trying to hit, but is it to the final number? So in other words, you know, the staff at VSBA can move dollars around if there's a deficit in one line item versus another? Is that how it works? Over?
Well, you know, I think the ideal goal is to try to stick to every budget line, but obviously there's flexibility in there. The executive director, you know, has flexibility on that. I don't think the finance committee is gonna get all mad if she, you know, if she shifts a little bit when it's for the good of the organization. But you know, the budget's kind of set up in a manner that typically you try to operate within that. We always know that there are going to be overages and underages, you know, in some areas.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Seeing no other hands, we're gonna move into our finance committee membership. Anyway, so in Article 10 of your bylaws, which is highlighted in your meeting packet, provides the following information. The committee consists of the treasurer, who shall serve as chair, and at least 2 members of the board of directors appointed by the president with the advice of the board of directors. The committee shall present a proposed budget to the board of directors and recommend adjustments to the board financial management policies as needed. So the committee meets via Zoom approximately 4 to 6 times per year, once each quarter, with 1 or 2 additional meetings during the budget development. The members right now are Jim, Nancy, Michael Inner, and I know that Bart had volunteered himself. So if that would be the pleasure of the board, or if there's any other volunteers, you guys can do all.
And do
But just is it, so Bart's interested?
Bart, is that Bart, you're online?
I am online, yeah. Yes, I'm currently in the airport, so apologies if there's a lot of background noise or you can't hear me too well. But yes, I would be very interested in serving on the finance committee. I have a pretty strong finance and accounting background, CPA, finance director by day. So I think I would have a lot to lend to the committee.
Well, it's certainly okay with the treasurer.
Thanks, Jim.
Are you in the same airport as Mark Kaufman? That would be interesting.
Oh, yeah, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, so I don't know where Mark is, but that'd be kind of funny.
I don't know either. He's at an airport. I don't know which one he's in.
So I'll make a motion that Bart, last name Nancy, and Michael be appointed or be continued on the VSBA Finance Committee.
Thank you. That's fine. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Both hands, so okay. Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, unanimous. Thank you. So we're gonna move into the legislative committee. So you
Want me to cover this part? Okay. Section B4 of the VSBA board's policy which are in your handbook that you received tonight, states that the VSBA recognizes that decisions and positions taken on behalf of the organization require different levels of timeliness and process, resulting in positions carrying different weights. Positions are taken based on the following. First, VSBA resolutions. The bylaws of the VSBA describe the process of adopting resolutions, which are positions taken by vote of the membership at the VSBA's annual meeting. A resolution is the most substantive decision or position of the association. Second, VSBA board position. Bylaws of the VSBA describe the process by which the board of directors may take a position about which there is no resolution. This board decision requires notice and consideration at a meeting of the board of directors and is the second level of association decision-making. Third, VSBA Legislative Policy Committee position. Policy D4 describes the process by which the legislative committee may determine a position about which there is no resolution or VSBA board position. So typically this would be in between board meetings. And fourth is advisory opinion. An executive committee advisory opinion may be taken in instances where rapid response to an issue is required and the legislative committee was unable to convene a quorum. According to VSBA policy D4, the legislative committee consists of the executive committee, which was just elected, plus one member from each region not otherwise represented by a member of the executive committee. The VSBA president shall serve as chair and shall not be considered a regional representative. The immediate past president of the executive committee shall not be considered a regional representative. The regional representatives will select which of them will serve on the legislative committee. So there's 2 reps in each region. You figure out. If a region is unable to decide, the VSBA president shall have the authority to appoint a representative. The legislative committee shall have the responsibility for determining VSBA policy or advocacy positions where no resolution or previous action of the board exists, and timeframes for a decision preclude a meeting of the full VSBA board. So based on that language, the legislative committee would consist of Flor Diaz-Smith, Neil Odell, Tara Sweet, Jim Salzgiver, Mark Clough, and Nancy Russell, plus one representative from the following regions: Addison, Central Vermont, Eastern Chittenden, Kingdom North. Mark is in Kingdom South, right? So we've already got Kingdom South covered. Rutland, Western Chittenden, Wyndham, and Windsor. I may have missed one.
Got them all. Okay. I think what I'm gonna do is just go region by region, so that we can, so for Addison.
Suzanne.
Okay, so for Addison, we have Suzanne. From Central Vermont is Sonia Volunteer herself. Bart, would you be okay with that? Since you're in the finance committee? Bart,
Yes,
can
I'm
you
okay
hear-
with that. I'm okay with that. Sorry.
Eastern Chittenden.
That would either be Diane or Tara, and neither one of them are here right now, so we're probably gonna have to follow up with them.
Kingdom North.
Yeah.
Kingdom South, we are in 5-9.
Can I ask, was Mark Hoffman on this prior?
I believe so.
I believe so.
Yeah.
But we'll have to take that away from him?
Yeah, because you're on the executive committee.
No,
Yeah.
that's too bad. Okay.
In
Rutland.
Rutland.
What do you want to do, Lisa? You're the senior person.
Yeah, that's fine, Linda. I'm fine by having you serve. Thank you.
Walking back a true leader.
Western. Yeah, Western Chittenden.
I think we decided that I have a conflict of interest, so I'm hoping Laura will do it.
Yeah, we're good. Thank you. And Wyndham and Windsor. So Wyndham.
Well, actually Nancy's from Windsor, so we don't
Oh,
have
okay.
Windsor, but we do need Wyndham.
Okay, so.
It's turn for Dan, right?
No, it was Mark.
It was Mark.
Mark, I think this is the one Dan said he was going to nominate me for this.
Okay, so Joe.
I'll do it.
Okay. Great.
Okay, you got all of that, right, Tara?
I just don't know who for Kingdom South.
Kingdom South is Martha.
Oh, because we are.
It's on the
having it started.
executive.
Yep.
Okay, the next one I. Do we need a formal motion for? all of these?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay. Okay, so for the awards committee, the awards committee proposes award criteria and award recipients. This committee needs to be assumed for 1 hour, approximately 3 or 4 times per year. Right now, the members are Mark Schober, who's not here tomorrow, Adrian is not with us. So Nancy, Russell, Martine, and Neil were previously on this committee. To stay in this committee.
I am.
All right. So. Any other volunteers? We don't, you know, people should be enough, but. You're good to stay on? Sure. Anybody else?
Is Martine good?
Martina good? I'm like looking at.
I know, why are you looking at me?
I'm good to stay on unless someone really wants to take over.
Give me a year. It's been a while.
Good, all right. So we have Martine, Nancy, and Neil. No other takers going on one? Right? No, okay.
Good question. That resolutions committee, when are we doing that one?
We do that in the spring or a little
Okay.
closer to when
When the resolutions are happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just thought that would be a lot to ask people
Yeah, no.
today, in one night.
I felt like we did it last year this time, that's why I wondered.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, let's move into our consent agenda. September minutes, I'm looking for a motion.
Motion from Mark Clough to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mark.
I can second, yeah, second it, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Mark.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I see the hands online. Any abstentions? That the minutes. Pass. Any new business?
Can I ask, do we, will we do like informational sessions about what's coming up, the hot buttons for legislature and? next
Yeah,
board meeting?
next board meeting, we'll get into that.
Okay.
Any new business? Reflection of the meeting or?
It's all
good.
It's all
good. All good, okay.
And really good cookies.
He was baking all night.
Take one.
That's not enough.
You have
Last little thing, right?
Sure.
Okay, so everybody stay sick. Or
We're not here right away.
Yeah, there's decaf in the kitchen.
Yes, there's decaf coffee, there's hot water for tea if anybody wants some. Cold water too.
Yeah.
I
was just, yeah.
I think I'm gonna regret the second cookie.
You might have regretted the third cookie.
Back to the.
Now that cookie is gone under the sleep. I don't know, man, I'm a sucker for a good cookie.
I love, yeah.
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 Oh my gosh, we're so good.
That's so funny. I have no idea. I think so.
Yeah. So that was great, and then her son. Goes to camp now.
Yeah. International.
And laughter. Her new position.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's really just actually, well, and I was there, I went there, I was trying to like, you're really on the weather advisory.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that dirty, but it's. So kind of. I think, yeah. I'm not too worried about it. Yeah.
Together growing up.
Oh, you got to worry about it.
And I'm gonna go to tomorrow morning, or like,
Hey,
oh my gosh.
food is more cheap, but
I'm going tomorrow.
that they need that Christmas spirit.
So there's that, you get a whole bag, giving your kids or brings.
How are you? I took two, but not many, I never met. Yeah, so finally.
Right.
Just.
Yeah.
So our other friend, who now lives in the show, but wasn't there.
Oh. I have a foreign exchange student that lives with us this year. Joe about.
Oh, it's not a joke.
Oh, no. Neil and his cakes. And so I had said, well, I'm gonna bake one to bring to this meeting tonight. She said, oh, no, I do. She doesn't speak very much English. Anyway, so I said, are you sure? Do you know how to bake a cake? And I wasn't in that was facetiously, it was just that I don't know. She hasn't done any baking. So she said, you recipe. So I gave her my recipe. She made this all by herself.
Wow, awesome. Wow.
For you and for the rest of this crew.
I'm over here.
Yes.
No, right? I can't even. I mean, all the. That's probably. Yeah. You have to be careful. Sugar.
Oh, there you go.
Oh my goodness. Man, we got some big experts with us tonight.
Yeah.
Here's the fun.
I'm bringing on.
Text you.
Oh, no, I think
You said you put in your calendar.
I did. So that was just the credit she needed to make the cakes. And I said, so I don't care too much.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I
And
think.
but she was pretty excited to do it. so.
Mark was asking about the task force, you were gonna, have the executive committee.
Yes,
talk about
he's like, I know
About
that.
the- Yeah, yeah.
He's like,
That's what we're
she's
gonna do.
forgotten me already.
Oh, Lord.
I feel so.
They're wondering if we're done online.
Oh, yes, we're done. Sorry, guys. We were gonna, yeah, we can, I just didn't, but did you guys get to see the cake? I just didn't wanna not have a celebration.
I think we go
On top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, we're gonna adjourn right after this. We're just celebrating.
No, nobody. No reason, no, got pineapple related. That's that. Yeah.
We do, yeah.
Later in this month.
At least it's.
Yes and no, I got the exact same.
They all left,
200,000 miles.
Okay, so that good. Take.
Oh,
Okay, go ahead.
yeah, thank you.
You'll send.
I'll clarify.
How did your son do?
Laura, how long?
How is it, Neil?
Oh,
Pass that along.
Too old.
I'll be so happy to
Oh,
hear
she did a
that.
great job. She did a great job. Okay. Now, I don't want anybody to get like, this is not like an every time occasion. All right, so
Two times I was in a room with. There's been cats. For me, it's been the last 3.
Oh, there's no place for you to like this.
Oh, okay.
One child who went into Pakistan and college.
How hard is it to get away from this?
Let me just forget. It's crazy. I didn't understand. No, we're still recording. And she'll graduate from international. So I saw. Yeah.
Good for you.
So I've seen her always from out over. So what I did. All right. Until the next. Oh, that's. Yeah.
To go visit.
During my just I was
That's a good sign.
Oh, yeah, I always.
Yeah.
There we go.
I did.
What are we gonna do?
Sentence.
Everybody's got her.
Carrie, can I stop recording?
Yeah. Thank you, Lord.
Right?